How was that? We had technically pretty advanced stuff there. I think I'm going now. Thanks for that, Zacho. We always take the stuff down when we're gone, and Nikki was actually helping me get it together, but that was the one piece we forgot. She filmed some stuff yesterday, so. Anyway, we are back from our trip. We went to Chicago again. Well, not to Chicago. We went to Chicago, started in Chicago, but we did a bunch of stuff there, and we went to Cedar Point, which I'd never been to. I had wanted to go many years ago, and we met some friends there, and that was amazing. They are coaster enthusiasts, much like Dave. Dave does not ride that much anymore. He is nervous just about all kinds of stuff, frailties, that we all are getting. And I have had problems for 20 years getting nauseous. So I was not like of a mind of going to Cedar Point, but we did go to Disneyland a couple times this year. We took Christoph on our actual anniversary date. And I was taking, I think I took, it's basically, goodness gracious. I don't remember the name. I'm trying to, it's basically your anti-nausea medicine. The one that we took, though, was not Dramamine. It was, anyway, something like it. And Bonine, whatever that is. And I felt great. I was able to ride all of the roller coasters. And that park is truly amazing. I could not believe how fantastic it was. We spent 2 days in the park, and then, but not consecutive days. We actually were there the 4th, which was crazy because when we left, we were staying at a hotel nearby that was part of their, the Cedar Point hotels, which, expensive, but it was still, we're going the 4th of July weekend, so it's gonna be crazy. And, but we had a great time. Wow, this bottle of water has been evaporating for 2 weeks, and there's barely any left. Well, let me look and see if by chance there's, nope, it's been evaporating. I probably should get some more. Anyway, they do not know how to clear out the cars in that lot. And oh my goodness, we're nearly 2 hours waiting to get out of there. And we should have gone before the fireworks, but the fireworks are cool. It was fun. It was on the beach. But we had a great time. We also went to, we're crazy pinball people now, and we go to, not to all the places, but we go to a lot of them. We have a great arcade nearby. Actually, the arcade that got us into pinball again was through our friend Jennifer. We went to, in Buffalo, New York, we're often there. We've been every year except during the pandemic. So we missed 1 year then, and we're probably not going to make it this year, unfortunately. But we go to Pocketeer, which is a great arcade, and this year we were there, and they had an expansion, so more machines, more spaces, more space. They expanded into a space next door, so it's a billiards place, but it was. I wonder if the other side is like more family-oriented, specifically, so that kids could go in there, because it had more stuff, but maybe that was just to appeal to all the crazy people that are into that stuff. They had full-on arcade shooters and really cool stuff. Anyway, so we've been into pinball, and so we've got a friend that works for Stern, and so we visited Stern, which was amazing. He gave us a great tour, and we saw, I have like a billion questions about that kind of stuff when it's manufacturing and things like that. But so we did that. We played. They have just an amazing setup of pinball machines there. Nothing truly old, maybe 9 years old. I think they had Ghostbusters, and Ghostbusters I think is 2016. But all of them are, of course, like perfect shape, and just, it was so great. But we barely played. We actually played board games. So that was fun. But then we, I mean, I would have loved to have played more. We did go to another arcade nearby that our friend suggested we go to. We went with him and had lunch the day before. Well, it wasn't the day before we went to Stern, because we actually went to this place called Interium, which I guess is a local place that both two of the biggest manufacturers. Stern is the largest manufacturer of pinball machines, and then the other one is Jersey Jack. And Interium had the new Harry Potter pinball, which was amazing. Truly, I mean, for a brand new game, it felt like it had a lot of code going. You know, I'm sure this one's going to be a complicated one. They supposedly were working on it for a couple years. They had all the assets, so they were, I don't know exactly if there's some sort of limitation, but they had all of the movies. I think the final 2 movies is treated as one, and it's probably a wizard mode or something like that. I don't know. Did not play that well. But while we were there, the designer of the machine was there fixing the machine after going to Southern Fried Gaming Con. There was a problem with some of the flipper springs. So he was there replacing them. It was really great. We got to talk to him, and I told him how much I thought the game was great. He's a huge fan of the books from when he was younger, and it shows in the game. Now, we played the arcade edition. Then we went to Logan, which is a really great arcade in Chicagoland, and really cool place. The downer was is we were there on a night where they were doing a, what is that game called? Queen something or other, which is a multiplayer video game, and it's a tournament, and they had multiple machines, and so a bunch of the pinball machines were not there, but they had a lot of great arcade games. Then we went to Stern, and then I think on Monday, Sunday Nikki and I did some sightseeing, and then Monday we went to Galloping Ghost, is that correct? I think that's right. I mean, we went to Galloping Ghost. We went to both the arcade and the pinball place. The arcade is amazing. They have like 1,000 machines, and they add a new machine every Monday. Now, it doesn't mean all the machines are on display, and they are out of space and trying to grow. Like, they own a whole section of that town. It's in southern part of Chicago suburbs. And then we went to the pinball place, and it was cool. Pinball place was a disappointment because quite a few machines were down. It's weird they don't have somebody on staff nearby, because they do have tons. They have a printing shop where they do their own t-shirt screening and stuff for others, and they do all kinds of stuff. And so they had no t-shirts for the pinball arcade, which was a downer. They did have, for the pinball branch, they did have the other one, so I did get the other one. Not that the logo is great, that could use some help. It's only 10-year-old, 11-year-old company, I think, I don't know. Need a better design. Nikki should volunteer. And then we headed to Cedar Point, had a great time, and after Cedar Point, we went to a place called Pastimes, which is the most amazing arcade I've ever been to. There are not as many video games as Galloping Ghost, but they have hundreds and hundreds of machines. The guy that owns the place, it's in a town south of Cleveland. We did go to Cleveland too, I skipped that part. So the one day in between at Cedar Point, we went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which was way more interesting than I mean, I figured it'd be cool, but they had a Saturday Night Live 50th anniversary exhibit that was just phenomenal. Absolutely amazing. They have this mashup at the beginning that is so cool. I wish that it was on YouTube or something. I would love to see it more. We sat and watched it a couple of times. I read somebody had walked through, maybe they just did that exhibit in 30 minutes. I don't know how you could do that place. Now, they are Cleveland natives, so they probably did. I saw this on Reddit. They probably have seen the rest of the museum, or they said they'd never been, but they went for the Saturday Night Live thing. It was amazing, truly, truly great. The museum itself is pretty awesome. There are holes, of course, but a lot of that has to do with, I think, I don't know if it's just it can't be, because Susie and the Banshees had a display there. That might have been a special exhibit, which was exciting to Nikki, but it was just costumes. There was a Depeche Mode exhibit, which they did get inducted 2021, maybe in 2020. But it was great, really great. Anyway, so we go to Pastimes. It's in a grocery store, empty grocery store space, and the guy that owns it has obviously a gigantic pinball machine and video game machine collection. He runs for the family, with the family, Pinball Expo, which is a big convention in Chicago in October, which I've never been to. I would like to go maybe this year. I don't know. Going back to Chicago would be fun, and there's more stuff we would like to see. But we ended up playing at Pastimes for 6 hours, and it was phenomenal. You know what? I can continue talking. What I'm going to do today is, for now, I'm going to be scraping off mold lines. I'll try to, let me zoom in a bit so maybe you could see. I'm getting ready to prime these, and I think I had done it already. I think there might be something with that camera. Let's see here. Anyway, and they look, there's no way I scraped this. You can see it here. It's terrible. I have a couple of tools, one of which is a don't hurt yourself type of tool from GW, Citadel. It says Citadel on there somewhere. Yep. Bought this a long time ago. I use X-Acto knives all the time. I'm just seeing how, this is the most recent of the Marvel United. Hopefully they deliver the DC United one. They are trying really hard to keep everything going, and they sold off a bunch of stuff. Anyway, so we stayed there for 6 hours at least and had a great time. Really, I mean, it's one of those places where you pay one fee and you play as long as you want. They had food, which was okay. We got hot dogs, I think, and maybe Nikki got something else. And it was cool. And they really take good care of the machines. They're not the best cared for machines I've ever seen, but they were pretty phenomenally taken care of. And saw tons of machines I'd never seen before. Yeah, we are back from vacation. Got back the other day. How you doing? So yeah, I mean, if you ever see yourself, if you're interested at all in the arcade stuff and pinball, go to Pastimes. It's in Girard, Ohio, so it's probably 40 minutes south of, 45 minutes or more south of Cleveland, southeast. Really cool, really amazing. They did have t-shirts, except they had the pinball style t-shirt, which is, the graphics are on the back, which I'm not a fan of. Because I'm a boob and somebody say something about my shirt and I won't know what it is. Now they do have a little logo on the front, but the big logo thing is on the back. So yeah, I would look down and go, oh yeah, cool, thanks. But we did go to some museums in Chicago. And then after that, we went to New Hampshire, visited a friend there. Went to another amazing arcade. Amazing arcade in Manchester, New Hampshire. Really, really cool. They are moving, so I don't know. They were saying November was when it would happen. The new location probably will be better, I imagine. Why would they move if they weren't going to a better location? They need the space and stuff like that. But the location they were in is a really neat old, like, mill, or maybe office buildings for the mills across the way that used to be across the way. And it was really awesome. Like, it had wooden floors that just looked neat. They were aged, you know, like from true wear. So it might have been a mill, I don't know. And it was great. And we played some machines there. We didn't have as much time as we would have thought. Ottawa doesn't have a great section of arcades, unfortunately, but Toronto has a couple of cool spots. I'm shocked. I mean, wow, 15 kilometers, that's great. Yeah, I mean, it is far. Chicago's closer to Toronto, though, and there's a bunch of great stuff. I was talking earlier about I've got the wrong glasses on here. I was talking earlier about Galloping Ghost, which is in Chicago, and Logan. There's a new place called Elston Electric that's owned by the same guy that owns Logan Arcade, and it seems great. So the one thing we missed, actually I could probably show you a picture. The one thing, I think I took it on this phone, was at Elston Arcade they had a Atari Hercules pinball machine, and that machine is distinctive because, hey Tantalorus, that machine is distinctive because it uses billiard balls as, maybe it's only one billiard ball as the balls in the machine. It is massive. It was done in like the late 70s, I believe, and there's not a lot of them around, but others have played them. I do not know how great it could. I would imagine the ones at Elston Electric are great because the ones at Logan are awesome. They have supposedly have a great crew. We met the owner of the place, and he was very nice. But the machine is huge, and so we lucked out. We did not go. We thought about going on Sunday night, I think maybe, and I think we were worn out. We had, as a matter of fact, I know we basically napped on Sunday because we, hey, thanks, Michael. Iron Spy, thanks so much for the support. The arcade has, Elston is in a Salt, what do you call it, the Salt something. It's a new location that was a converted Morton Salt. I can't remember the name of it, Salt something. But we were really tired, and so we decided to just rest because we were going to go to Galloping Ghost the next day. And how you doing, Michael? Are you guys gonna be at Gen Con? So we didn't go. And there was a show. They had a festival there. It's a venue for concerts, and they have restaurants there, and Elston Electric has food. So we thought about it, but I think we ended up just hanging out and eating in downtown where we stayed. We had gone to Millennium Park, which was amazing and fun. There were concerts going on there too when we got in and when we were leaving. Actually, not quite when we were leaving. We left no, it was the evening. It was our last night there when we came back. And so we were dealing with that because we left on Tuesday. But at this other arcade, they had Hercules. So I didn't have to worry about it. It ended up being there. I think I opened the photos, but I guess I didn't. And I got a picture of Nikki playing, and it's amazing. But we did go on an architectural tour of the city in the Rivers in Chicago, which was actually pretty great, run by like an architectural association or something like that. So here's Nikki playing this machine. I don't know if you can really get an idea of how big that is, but look how tiny Nikki looks. It is just massive. Of course, I don't think I got a shot of the pinball, which is literally a billiard ball. Gosh, why is it not visible? You'd think it'd be there. It's so massive. The pop bumpers are kind of slow. It was amazing. Let me see here. Did I get another picture of her playing it? I did. Let's see if there it is. So there's the billiard ball right there. It is just massive. And we saw some other great machines. Oops, I just deleted something I probably didn't want to do. They had another great machine that I'd never heard of called Hyperball. It's designed by like one of the big, you can see all the balls loading here. And you've got two guns, and it's really not pinball, it's like a shooting gallery, but it is amazing. Really fun, interesting game that they thought was going to be super successful and was not. But it has like 60 balls in it that are constantly feeding in, and you're trying to protect the energy center or something like that. I don't know. We didn't really know. We played it probably 8-10 times, but it was amazing. I'd love to try to play that one more, but I'd never seen that one before, and it's not really a pinball machine. This is Pastimes. Really, really cool. All kinds of facts on the floor here. The one thing they did not have was a lot of modern machines. They have a ton of old. They have a ton of Italian and French. Just amazing. They had a brand new French machine that was really cool. And all that was really cool, but the downer was not a lot of you and your crew's board game playthroughs. Ah, awesome. Thanks so much, Jimmy Pop. Well, this episode this week may not be as well done as others. We've had a couple other episodes that came out blurry with one of the camera angles, and this was my fault because we were filming 2 things that day, and we rushed the second one in, and we somehow screwed up the focus. So it's going to have a blurry cam for part of the video. Thankfully, not the down shot, and me and Deborah look great. The rest is a little blurry, but it was a great game. Hey David, how you doing? We were kind of close to both you and Michael. We thought about trying to get together with them. We did not have the time we had hoped, but we did have a great time. And we were out of control on the last bit of the. I mean, we had a car and everything, but we were with friends, and so it wasn't quite as liberating as it was. So we came back to Chicago before we flew out. We flew from New Hampshire to Chicago, and we went to Racine, which is a little old town, because they built SC Johnson Wax is based there, and their headquarters is designed by Flanker Lloyd Wright, and I had actually tried to book it several times, and I decided to look on our way back to Chicago on the plane. And I saw that there was one seat, one position previously. And so they had 2, I don't know how many more they might have had, and I booked us and we did that. And so it was a kind of a rush to get, once we got back to Chicago, get the car, and then immediately head to Racine. I don't know if we ate. I'm trying to remember, I think we ate breakfast. No, that wasn't it. I don't know, it was crazy. I should not have not eaten, I'll tell you that. But we found that we love super busy. We just got back from our anniversary vacation, a little bit of vacation that we'd been started planning to do, but when now I didn't book anything, but when Christoph decided he was going to come to our visit us after BGG Spring, we were super excited. We really like hanging out with Christoph, and he was excited to actually do some of the show stuff with us, and the audience reaction to Christoph is so great, and I'm sad that we don't have regular access to him. He lives in Germany, but we see him most of the time, once a year. We will not be going to Spiel this year, so we won't see him then, but he's usually very busy at the con. But we usually get to see him a little bit around that event. But he is coming to Gen Con, so hopefully, and he is planning on coming back out here, so we'll see. We would love to have him again and have him on the show more. What I basically need to do is tie him up for the whole time he's here and film 12 episodes. We have one Christoph episode per month. We kind of basically do the same thing with Deborah, although Deborah's usually around more, but she's been filming, and I think she had something else going on too, which is very exciting. We'll see her in 2 weeks, and then she is hoping to come over and film some stuff with us, but they might be moving away, so that will be a tremendous bummer if they go, but what are you going to do? I should do both of these. I have 2 of these, right? Why don't I have 3? I have to look. Maybe I don't have. I have to look. I should have 3 of these, but maybe I don't. Maybe he does not have. But we really had a great time. Really neat. Saw some fun stuff. Did some fun traveling. It was a longer trip to Cedar Point, than I expected. And we were hoping to meet up with. We were wanting to meet our friends Iresby and his wife and daughter. They're really great people, and we We just did not have, it's a longer drive than we had expected. I mean, I knew it was a drive. I think we stayed in Cincinnati and then drove to Niagara after that a couple years back, and that was a long drive. Anyway, and Nikki, when we got married, we went to Chicago, but we headed to Pennsylvania because we were going to go into Canada. Nikki had never been up east, and we were talking about maybe New York and stuff like that. We did not do that on that trip. A few years later, we went to New York, and of course, that was a complete anomaly vacation as well because we were there when everybody thought there was going to be a blizzard, and so nobody was on the streets. We're in New York, and nobody is around. It was just the weirdest thing ever. But we were lucky enough. We got to go to Carnegie Deli before it folded, and I mean, we ate there. Usually there was, there used to be a line for the place, and we went during the blizzard, or partial blizzard, I guess. I don't know, it wasn't that bad, and walked right in and ate. But anyway, so, but we ended up going to Pittsburgh and seeing the Andy Warhol Museum and going to Falling Water, another Frank Lloyd Wright design that was just amazing. Nikki had never been. I had been once with my dad. I feel like I went to Chicago with my parents as well one time, but I don't remember it very well. I know I had to have. I just don't. My mom was like, I've been there twice, and I'm like, yeah, I think I was there one of those times, but I don't. I wonder if we just didn't have as much time as we thought. I think we picked up my grandmother at that point of the trip, and so we probably didn't spend as much time there. We had done a whole bunch of the East Coast. My dad was, I don't know if he was born in Massachusetts, but he grew up in Massachusetts. And so, it's funny, I don't remember where he was born. I think he was born in Nebraska. And, but my dad's side of the family had family there. So it's probably why they moved back there at one point. Anyway, so we ended up we flipped the trip and went, because we wanted to go into Canada, and there was a Formula One race in Montreal that we were like, yeah, we don't want to be there for that, because number one, there'll be no hotels, and number two, it's just too crazy. So we flipped the trip and then came to Montreal towards the end of the trip, because we did Quebec City, then Montreal, and then Toronto, which was awesome. I mean, all of that was great. We really loved Toronto. We used to fly in there and visit some friends there occasionally, but we stopped doing that probably 7 years ago. I mean, the weird part, the pandemic really has screwed with every perception of time for me. I was thinking about something I had done recently, and I'm like, oh, that was probably 6 years ago. Anyway, weird time, weird deals. But we did have a great time. It was really fun to be a little bit, we had to race to get all the SDJ stuff together in time, which we do anyway. I mean, we were basically 1 week ahead. We had a hard time because, we usually jump right on the kids' games. But Brian and Tashi were busy, and they were busy. Like, they made it, and they went out of their way to make it, which was great, because they actually came twice. We did the first filming, and we only did 2 games, and then we did the second filming, where we did the games and the discussion video with Mike as well. And I don't think he played the game with us, though. I feel like he was waiting, which is weird. I don't know why. But he'd already played all the games at BGG Springs, so... But I don't know if you guys watched the stream from the SDJ Awards. It was slick. They had some company do animations that were just phenomenal as the overviews of the games. It's sad that they didn't have the jury members, but maybe it was just too much for them. I don't know. But, I mean, I prefer the animation. It's amazing, but it's also fun to have the jury folks talk about the games and stuff. And they did a little. I'm not sure how long the stream was totally, but I didn't watch the whole thing. I hurt myself in September, and my foot. And so we have a solar array on our roof, and you need to clean them occasionally. And it's not, we're not very high off the ground. You know, it's a single-story home. So it's not a big deal. I don't know that I'll keep doing it forever, but I needed to clean them. So I hadn't cleaned them for nearly a year. Now, we'd had a lot of rain, cleaned it off, but I got up on there. And so as I'm doing that, this is on Sunday, I was trying to do it while it was cool. It's actually got cooler. It's getting cooler this week right now. I had people with running commentary what was going on, and which is great. It was like, and then I got down when I was done and watched the whole thing, which is cool. What was really cool is they brought the designers up who were there and talked to them, which was very, very neat. Really a neat opportunity. It was very exciting to see how everybody was so thrilled. I mean, you know, there's multiple publishers involved in all of these games. It was weird. So, for Tessa Elise, is that her name? Oh man, she's neat. And they didn't get a chance to talk to her too much. It was her, and they spoke to her, and Randy Flynn worked on it with her. He actually asked her to work on it with him. And that was really cool. It was great to see it. I learned about Fortessa on a BGG series that Eric did, that I think one of our audience members was involved with. She put it together, and it was great. Had Nikki on there, which was fun. But I learned about Fortessa there, and I was like, wow, this is exciting. I mean, I'd seen her name, but I didn't know anything about her. And it was really cool. And so it was exciting to see them get nominated for the game. And, you know, I don't know if anybody know if you know the winners, but the winners were Top de Torta, which is Wolfgang Kramer's game, which I loved. So that's the one I picked if I was on. So I did pretty poorly. I don't really remember what everybody else, I need to look it up, but everybody else's votes were for what we thought the jury would pick. But I think all of us were probably on the money on what we picked that we would pick if we were on the jury, what would win. And I think almost everybody won, picked that the same. When it came down to actually picking what the jury might select, that's where we dropped the ball. I think I'm the only one that got one of the, I got the Kenner because I said it was going to be Endeavor Deep Sea. I just felt it's a heavier game. And that's exciting and interesting. It was doubtful because, you know, I've not really been in sync completely. I had a couple years ago where I think I might have picked them all. It's, you know, whatever. All kinds of things influence that. But it was that one and Bomb Busters won, although I think we might have all said we thought Flip 7 would get it. And I think Flip 7 would have been a great win. I saw a lot of comments on YouTube, on BGG and maybe YouTube, where they were like really angry that it was even nominated. It's not a game. And I'm just, that kind of argument or frustration is just not good. It is a game. There is fun. There is strategy. It's remembering what's come out there, and it's risk. It's a push your luck game, and I think we were all. It wasn't a bad choice, you know. I mean, it wouldn't have been. But I wanted. So in the video, I said how much I thought Bomb Busters should win. There was some issues, you know, in our discussion where like it says 14 and up. That's not really great for a family game. Well, it turns out, you know, in the U.S. they didn't test it to be able to give it a younger age because it's 10 in Europe. And I feel one of the publishers, I know it's Matthias Wagner, he was on stage. He was in the comments on the YouTube video, and he was explaining, you know, it's just that he said something about the requirement magically going away, and it's like, he's right, but somebody got offended, like, oh, you don't think we should test stuff? And that's not what he's saying at all. He's saying that because they choose not to go through the testing, which can be expensive and maybe not worth it, right, on something at that level, as far as sales, it got categorized as for older kids. But you know, in the discussion, Mike was saying how great he thought it was that it had a solid, and Christoph, a solid way to get you going in the game without too much trouble and without too much to worry about, because it's a game that builds as you go. And we only played 2 of the 8 initial. Hey, Cersei. Been good. Busy but good. And but you know, I don't remember. Christoph would not tell us what he thought. I didn't ask him, and he wouldn't, because he's part of the jury, and he was actually part of both juries this year. So, and that was exciting too. But yeah, it was great. We had it was a neat end up for the whole week, the whole time away, which to have that all happen. But we did get it all together, and Derek put a lot of effort into it, and I had to edit videos, and but he was great. But we'll all be a lot of us are going to be at Gen Con. I know Christoph is, at least the plan was he's going to be there, so if you want to visit Christoph, he will be at the SDJ booth. I don't know that they're coming back. Everybody's, that's part of the issue. We're not going to be going to Spiel this year, Nikki and I. Plenty of folks will be there. We're just not going to go. It's expensive. We'll see what happens for next year. We're going to Gen Con this year. We don't have a ton of meetings yet. I've been writing and reaching out, and everybody's like, yeah, we'll be doing this, and then nothing. So I need to reach out again and see if there's even any slots left, if some of these people forgot to try to set us up. But because we're, part of what we do is we're trying to promote our projects. Nikki and Candace and the Brothers Murph produce. Nikki's been doing a lot lately. We produce these videos, and it is one of the ways that's going to keep us going. We need to make the money that way. Nikki has a new one coming for the Lord of the Rings, the Lord of the Rings, the Fate of the Fellowship, which was great. It's a great game. I hope that's at Spiel, to Gen Con. I really hope they have it. I don't know what's going on. The tariffs have really slowed things down, and I don't know. We have a couple games that we got sent that we can't really talk about yet. We can. I just mentioned one, but we can't do anything with them yet because they don't know when they're coming out. And this is one of the things they asked us to. We've actually filmed the Fate of the Fellowship video for GameNight already, and we want to put it out. It will be coming out soon. They're timing it just to try to, we do those on our own, but because we are producing a video for them, we're not gonna. I've seen lots of people put the videos out, and I'm sure they're fine with that. I know there's a stream later today with Amanda and Crystal from Office Dog and Asmodee playing Fate of the Fellowship, but we are not putting ours out until. I really want it to be this week, but it'll probably be next week if we're lucky. I don't know. Next week will be the 24th. I don't know. May have to be the week after that, because they were saying late July, early August would be helpful. And we want to help the publisher out as well. That was nice of them to send us the game in advance, and that they wanted us to produce a video, which is really great. Oof, it's a little hot in here. So it shouldn't be that bad. It's cooled down. Hey, seriously, I'm working on. Hey, thanks for the follow. Black Acre. Wow. Black Acre Chito Loco. Okay, I think I'm getting that. How you doing? Thanks for following. Today I'm scraping the mold lines off these minis. So the plan, I was going to prime them last night, and I got wrapped up in some other stuff. And I really have noticed, let me see, I can show you some examples. Let's see this one here if it has some problems. So this is another one that I had to sculpt the ear. Two of these have broken off. Now you can see there's some mold lines here on her hairline. That's not so bad. I did an okay job on cleaning this one up. But yeah, it was really weird. Two of these broke off, and I did a pretty good, there you can see some mold lines on the ear. They kind of really start to stick out when you prime them. Now, if you, once you paint them, it clears up. Mighty Thor here has some mold lines. This one's kind of complicated, but I feel that that's a mold line. Oops, I'm sorry. There's a mold line I should have gotten. There's one right there I should have gotten. And it's not that big of a deal. It's not, I prefer not to have that visible. It's hard. And you know, these models are not, they do not clean easily. I find that GW miniatures clean much, much more simply. Let's see if we have one here that we can do something on. I might have done some of this recently. Something with the plastic formulation is just better with the GW stuff. I mean, it scrapes and it's clean. There is no residue sticking or anything like that. Goodness gracious, what's going on here? And I really like that. I mean, I actually enjoy cleaning the mold lines on the Games Workshop stuff. For the most part, I mean, there are some bad ones. And the joins can be bad. I mean, I have Milliput, which I've barely used. I've used green stuff. And a lot of people have recommended using the Milliput. And the other thing I'm noticing here is that these just have better mold lines. Now, that can change. You know, it could be just this is a fresh mold, or but you'll see here, I'm scraping, and it comes off pretty simply. I mean, I'm overdoing it, I feel here. It comes off pretty simply, and it's very smooth. Like, you do this cleaning, and it does not show up. And that's, you know, that's the nature. These guys are miniature makers. That's what their business is. So they're going to be more, you know, more diligent on making a quality, clean product. Not to say that the stuff from, boy, I don't know what's going on with those companies. Anyway, with CMON and Marvel United, the reason why I say, boy, I don't know what's going on, I read a thing about Big Child Creatives. I don't know if they're going out of business. I don't think they are, but they had a paint business that they were doing with MIG. No, not MIG. Was it MIG? It was MIG. Oh my gosh, if it's MIG, that really bums me out. I think it was MIG. That can't be right. Let me look it up. So that's AK Interactive. Is it AK Interactive? It's MIG, I'm pretty sure. Which is a real bummer. AK Interactive has done some crazy, weird stuff over time recently. Wow. Anyway, so they had a paint line that they ended up just taking over, that they were developing with Big Child Creatives. I watched a video. I watch Lila Mev. She has a pretty good YouTube channel. She's been a little busy, I think, lately, so she hasn't done as many videos, but Ionic is the name of the paints, and it's Ammo by MIG is shutting them out of their collaboration. So Ammo by MIG, I believe, is an offshoot. I have some of their paints. Was an offshoot of maybe of folks from AK Interactive. And now if they've taken this work, I don't know what the situation is. You know, it's all, there's lawsuits pending, it seems like now. But I'd heard that it was, there was, the way, I did not actually watch the full entirety of the Lila Mev video. I got kind of carried away because I actually am a fan of Big Child Creative stuff. And so I was looking into what the heck happened. And it's been a couple months, so I had not heard anything about it. Now, I've been super busy, and I've easy to understand missing the word about it, but they're great. Big Child Creatives, they do all of these minis. They do all the minis, and meaning sculpting them, and then they paint them up for the campaign. I am disappointed. I do not know what's going on. That may have to do with what's going on with Simon. Usually during the campaign and in the wait up for the release of the game, they'll release all of the miniatures painted. At least that's what they've done on the previous campaigns. The last two Marvel United ones actually did the best job on all of them because they shot both front and back, which, as a guy who wants it to be more comic accurate, not necessarily perfect, just more so than for me than to do the research, because I don't know a lot of these characters. It was really helpful, and they have a book that they're doing with this campaign, which is not necessary for me. I mean, I paid for it. It's $50 or something like that, or $40 or something. And you know, who knows if that's the price, because they haven't manufactured everything yet, and they haven't shipped it, and the tariffs could make it so that I already paid the most I've ever paid for, I think, any campaign on that one, which sadly this is making it so that I'll probably never do that again. I'm not worried about losing the money. I mean, I don't want to lose the money, but it's not that big of a deal, because what can you do, right? There's nothing I can do if the circumstances are out of control, or you know, out of my control and out of their control. Who knows? But it's a bummer, because I really like their stuff, and I hope I did not get an answer. There was a lot of people talking about it, not a lot, but some people talking about it, and then I had things I had to do. I think this was on Saturday or something like that, because we came in on Friday, and had to work on some stuff around the house, and then wow, that's weird. So there's like a weird injection point on the base here. I did not see the Iron Heart. I did not even notice that there's a heart on the thing here. I've not seen the show yet on Disney Plus. We'll watch it. Wow. Oh, so there are 3. I'm crazy. Here's the other one. I'm crazy. But yeah, these are a little harder to clean. All is right with the world. Thank you so much. So I'm now tracking my blood sugar. And part of the issue is like stress. Hey, it's calming down. So maybe. I have not eaten any food yet today, but I had a spike. This is an over-the-counter thing that you can get if you want to. It's not cheap. But I really trying to understand what's going on with my blood sugar. And so stress and getting rolling, I think, part of that, you know, in the day, because I'm not a big breakfast person, although I'm trying to have more breakfast. I don't usually I'm not really hungry until lunch, but I don't think that's good for my body. So I'm trying to follow that stuff, and it's an interesting thing. You put a little sensor in your skin that stays there for 2 weeks, which is crazy. Part of the thing, I don't know that if I'll keep it going or not, but probably for now. But it's pretty interesting, and it's pretty effective too. But I actually love the painting, and I love so much stuff. And you know, we're gone again. We're gonna go next week for a little bit of time in Dallas before going to Gen Con. Scott is coming to Gen Con for the first time since 2019, which is exciting. I don't know how much fun he'll have, but it'll be good. He's never the downer is he's never met Deborah, and he'll probably get to meet Deborah. Deborah will be at Gen Con. That's when we'll see her next. She is doing a RPG event, D&D event at the con on Friday. So she's actually only going to be in town 2 days. She leaves on Saturday. So I imagine she doesn't have her son and her husband. But she wants to hang out, and we'll probably play games and stuff like that, and drag her around a bit. And then hopefully we'll see her soon after that. I'm gonna try to get her to schedule that, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's a weird time. She's not the only people talking about moving, and LA is, you know, not that we're having the troubles that the ice raids are making you think. I don't believe. We're just having problems with the industry here. The movie industry is not doing great here. It's still going, but we don't have as much production here. And they've made some changes at the state level to try to help that, and I think the city level. So hopefully that'll change, but it's just terrible. You know, there's a whole full industry with people that are truly the best in the industry. They're just expensive, I guess. I mean, the strike a couple of years ago really didn't. Was that summer before last? I think it was. Probably helped some things, but not entirely. And they had to settle. That whole AI art thing at that time really started to explode, and we did a BGG show where we talked about it, and I just was like, I understand the desire to use that stuff. It's just better. So that's part of it. So we did play Harry Potter. I was talking about the pinball machine, and there's a controversy about it using AI art. And so the artist did a blog about it and said that he had to use it. And when you see the amount of art that's on that machine, I don't know how much time they had. I know they had a couple years, but I don't know that the artist had a couple years, right? The game is in development, the table is in development, it's evolving, and I don't think they bring them in until things are closer to being done. And I saw a couple of the things that they were talking about, because somebody did an analysis just from looking at the videos and photos. On the stuff that we looked at, not so terrible. There's a gargoyle or a dragon that has 2 eyes on the side of his head. I don't quite understand that. I can understand using those tools, and it is an artist that's using them. It's when it's not an artist that's using them that's a little frustrating. But I also understand why. Like, it's very expensive to get artists to do the work, and the timing is it's hard. Nikki is an illustrator. She knows all of that, and it's not great. Not a great time at all. Because it makes it easier for the artists. I guess that's Nikki P. Makes it easier for the artists, but at the same time, it puts them out of a job, right? I don't know, because anybody can kind of do it. There's this whole series, I cannot remember the name, something cheese, of Star Wars clips. It's like focusing on a stormtrooper doing his job. It's basically, 3-minute, 4-minute video or something like that of him doing his specific jobs. And it's amazing looking. It's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but it's amazing looking. And it's starting to get the one thing that was a problem with any AI generated stuff, more consistent, not exactly the same results, right? You're trying to get a stormtrooper and you're letting AI do the work on that, and they don't always deliver the same thing. And it was better. Now, it's still not great, but I don't know how much effort that is. I don't know how, because that's the one thing I think that really suffers with AI is iteration. Like, if you need to change something, you're not going to get the same results. And I guess that's a plus for the true artists. But yeah, so that was a downer. There's all kinds of issues with the Harry Potter franchise. But it is a truly great machine. We actually played 2 versions of it. We got to play in New Hampshire. We got to play the what's it called? It's not the Wizards, Collector's Edition, I guess, but the other one's the Wizards, I don't know, the one of them is an arcade one. So they're all expensive. Nikki and I would love to have one, but they're just too expensive. And we don't have room for that kind of thing. But Nikki's like, are we gonna try to have to make room for this? I'm like, I don't know. It's a lot of money. The top one is $15,000. The top one, which is the one second one we got to play, is designed by the art. A lot of the artwork on the cabinet is done by Mina Lima, people that did the work for the production, all the art for the production. Like elements that were in the show. And I think I know it's more than 2 people now, but it was a 2-person team that started it. And it is amazing stuff. And the machine is beautiful. I mean, it's just gorgeous. I don't really care for gold stuff. Like I'm not a gold person, but oh my goodness. They had the wire form ramps are gold. The snitch is a gold. The plunger is a snitch, and it's gold. It looks amazing. It's all really, really gorgeous. And if I wanted one, if I want to get one, that's the one I would want too. And it's a lot. We want to buy a car. You can spend, the cost of that machine is half of a decent car, or a third. So I don't know. But it's really, really amazing. As I said, we met the designer. We'd met him before, but we met him at the arcade, and it was just funny. He was very proud of it. That's why he was there fixing it. He wants it to reflect how, it was a minor problem that turns out is an issue with a lot of machines. A friend of mine has a Pulp Fiction, and the same thing. The spring broke on there's like a spring that returns the flipper to its down position, I guess, essentially. It is what it is. And those springs are breaking, and it turns out that they are, there's a manufacturing defect. So probably wrong gauge of wire, or some problem with the wire form, because they stretch wire out. It's crazy. And so he had done that Southern Fried Gaming Expo, and he wanted to make sure that it was the one that's at the location, that they do events and stuff at, right near where the manufacturing takes place in Illinois. I don't know if that one had a problem, but considering when we went to the next machine, so the one that we played in New Hampshire, the springs are broken. And so that got fixed, and we got to play it a little bit, not as much as I'd like to, in the actual form, and it's pretty amazing. Lots of really cool, innovative things in that game. Wow. You'll use some of the Warhammer Lord of the Rings minis. I would say that that's probably pretty good. The wooden figures are good, and I really do like the art. A friend of ours saw the art in real life and was like, oh, this is much better than how it looked online. And I'm like, I think they look great. There is some, like, of the illustrations in the game that are, they're not the cover. The cover is like, that's where people were complaining too, and I think the cover is great. But hopefully, boy, I hope this actually looks better. That's the hopefully thing here. It's interesting how these, they glue these together so they don't quite match up as they should. Where's the other? Oh, there. There's a couple other ones over here. I missed the other Ironheart. But we also got to play, we had played it recently as well when we were in Dallas, the new King Kong game, which is also fantastic. It's just fun to see how the stuff coming out. That one to me is also innovative in a different kind of way. It's designed by one of the most prolific and amazing designers at Stern, and everything's being held up to Godzilla, which is his game, because like Jaws was his machine last year, at the beginning of last year. And it's a great machine too. Jaws is great. King Kong is great. But there's not as much love for, I mean, people love Jaws, don't get me wrong, but it's not as well loved as King Kong, and I think it's great. And I think it just reached 1.0 on the firmware, on the code, which is the biggest challenge of all these things. I don't know how, as I was talking about the code for Harry Potter, and I don't know how far along it really is. It felt pretty rich as it is. I mean, because I've played machines that were brand new that had very, very low level completion on like all of the elements of the game. So supposedly when they do 1.0, the game is pretty much not done, but like all of the elements are in there. And you know, for James Bond, which is one of my favorite machines, its code 1.0 didn't come for a year and a half. And I mean, I don't know when Jaws reached 1.0, let me look, because that makes me wonder. I think they're basically the same time frame release, one of them, you know, end of the year type of a thing. Although I don't know, I think Jaws was later. I can actually look up to see the code dates on the I don't know though. I mean, because Godzilla. Why am I looking at Godzilla? It's I mean Kong. King Kong. It's it's new. Support. Game code. So Jaws reached 1.0 on July 2nd. Oh, okay, that's just recent. It was debuted at CES, so January 2024. That's a long time. That's a year and a half. I don't know. That's a long time. Uncanny X-Men is now, I don't remember when it got released. I think it got released September. So it's nearly a year old, and they're not there yet. And they had some real problems, I guess, so they kind of rebooted the code team on that. John Wick is still not there, and John Wick is over a year old. I think John Wick kind of came out May, so probably the same time as Godzilla, King Kong. Keep calling them wrong. So yeah, it's an expensive investment. And you don't know how great the game will be until the code is really done. I mean, you know the shots and stuff. Those things are fun. I mean, it's weird. Board games, they definitely, you know, there are some times where they have to, you know, FAQs will solve those problems. But, you know, of course, it's much, much more minor, and not that it's not minor to the game, but as far as the amount of effort, and it doesn't generally, you know, you don't have to solve physical problems sometimes, often in a board game, where pinball can have all kinds of troubles. That was one of the issues with X-Men, Uncanny X-Men. It has a weird, it's really got some amazing mechanical elements, but they have some weird things that kind of frustrate people, and which is too bad, because man, it is truly one of the prettiest machines out there. It's not my favorite theme. I'm not an X-Man. I mean, I liked the movies. I've never read any of the comic books. Nikki might have read that stuff. I have not. I don't know. It seems okay, but you can see here, I'm looking at it, and then I'll airbrush it, the primer, and I will, and it doesn't get any better. Like if I dry brush it to do the undercoating or painting, it would be, I don't know, but they pop out. You just see the problems, and you're like, oh my gosh. And I have fixed them sometimes once I prime them. It's like, whatever, I'll just fix it. It's interesting that they're slightly different as far as the mold line situation. It's funny, so we went past Great America, I think is what it's called, in Chicago. And, you know, we saw like one roller coaster. They're all the same company now. Cedar Point and Six Flags merged. And I think Cedar Point was the main. It's not called, Cedar Point is the name of the company, but they have the most amazing roller coasters. It's like truly, you know, I always thought of like Magic Mountain, which is out here near us, as like, wow, they really have great stuff. But their roller coasters, while they have some great ones, do not hold a candle to this stuff. It's amazing how good they are at Cedar Point. We rode their newest. They have two. We did not ride the other new one, which isn't really new. It's been revised. Had some issues, but it's a minute-long ride, probably, maybe a little longer. The other one that we rode that was new isn't much longer. Takes a little bit more time, but it was the smoothest roller coaster I'd ever been on. Like, you know, there's no throwing you around or anything like that. It usually is a problem when Nikki has, and this game has over the shoulder This ride has over the shoulder mount that you put over your to hold you in, with a seat belt as well. And she gets her head boxed around inside those things. Usually, this one did not have that problem, and I'm sure that's to solve that problem. I know that Nikki and our friend can't be the only shorter ladies who. And I mean, even on some of the other ones, I remember like me getting banged around, and I'm taller, so. But the craziest one was a lap roller coaster that was one of them, called, I think it was Steel Vengeance, or maybe another one. A lap one that had you twisting and stuff. I was just blown away how all that stuff has evolved, because I haven't been to a roller coaster park since early 2000s. That's when I discovered I get nauseous on roller coasters where I didn't have a problem. I actually didn't have a problem that day. I went and rode a bunch of stuff, and then we got on one of the roller coasters when it was warmer in the day. I think we were in the summer months, and I just got sick, really, really sick. And we did not have Dramamine. I think Nikki was the one that did the research on that. Well, I had the same thing. We went on the BGG cruise, and I don't have, you know, the cruise is actually fine, but I got, on the smaller kinds of things, I got sick. So we went on a whale watching thing, and it was just the craziest, roughest ride ever. And I thankfully had taken the anti-nausea medicine, you know, for the, I think that was actually, I think that was the Bonine. I think that's where we bought that stuff for that cruise, and I did not have a problem at all. And I would have been absolutely puking. So, I mean, and it's funny because I'm not a person that does that. I have, for years, I've only ever gotten sick very long time, very, very long time. It was one of the things I did everything I could to avoid vomiting. Ugh. Okay, well, at least this, but now I've got hundreds more minis to scrape. I just need to try to do them as I'm working on stuff, because I tend to, I mean, my favorite part is painting the minis. But as I said, it's fun to clean them on the GW ones. These are just, the plastic sticks and it doesn't cleanly come off the model. Fingers are it's always this webbing of plastic on the fingers, and I don't love it. I always like stop, and I'm like, that isn't the last thing you're gonna be doing on here. Particularly in here, in his torn up cape. Capes. Why do people wear capes? I mean, superheroes or villains. See, I mean, I guess you can't see it, but there are little pieces of plastic stuck here. It's really not simple. I'm not even sure what this is. I feel this is something to do with the mold. It's got like a little flag of plastic hanging off it. I sure do hope that CMON can pull through. They've sold off so much stuff. They still have this, but they sold off Zombicide to Asmodee. And one of the people that was at CMON is now at Asmodee, so I imagine there'll be some consistency amongst all that stuff, but I don't know. They got rid of a ton of, if not all of, the game developers. So I don't know what's going on. It's crazy. And everybody, I don't know if we know anybody at CMON anymore. What time is it? Not that late. I got a little more time. So Dungeons and Dragons was the one that was the new release at the beginning of the year. It's at 0.92. I left the phone open, so I looked at it again. I don't really follow that stuff. I do get emails about them, even though I don't own all those machines. I mean, I don't have, Manny machines. There's so many. Oh my gosh, I played a great Ghostbusters. Great version of Ghostbusters that I don't know if it was an LE. I don't think it was. So in Stern's parlance, there is a Pro, a Premium, and an LE. Pros are like the base level. They're meant to be on location, but people buy them. There's nothing wrong with them. Some of them are amazing games. But they generally are they remove some elements of the Premium and LE versions. So the Premium and LE are exactly the same as far as game mechanics go. Maybe not anymore 100% because, I mean, the mechanics will be the same, but the code might not be the same because they kind of have a DLC thing now where you buy a component like the topper and it will open up some game code for you, which, you know, is not on the playfield. It's a weird choice. But I get it. You know, they want to sell. And they are very expensive. Toppers are, so we have the Munsters, and when that came out, they had a cool topper for it that was animated. And like it had the raven pop out of the cuckoo clock, which was just amazing. But I didn't buy it. So we bought this machine 6 years ago, actually more than 6 years ago now. And it was much cheaper then. Like they really went up in cost. I didn't buy it because there was problems with it. I had no idea. I just didn't know the system. I didn't know how that stuff worked. And they did not fix that. Now, it doesn't mean that it wasn't fixable. I was watching a guy on YouTube, and now that I know what I know about pinball, I think I probably could have resolved whatever the issue was. And I should have bought one, especially because, first of all, they're very expensive now for that to get it. They don't make it. They didn't make it for very long. And it was not a very successful machine. I mean, I'm sure it did okay because they do sell a bunch of machines initially, and they did do one other version of the machine, so they weren't against. It wasn't like it wasn't selling, but I'm pretty certain I could have fixed it had I had one, and it was $450, and now I bet you that machine's $1,000. I mean, that topper would be $1,000 in modern stuff. The Godzilla topper, I think, was $1,200 or $1,300, maybe. And it doesn't move at all. It's a lot of LED lights, but it doesn't move at all. Let's look. I can look it up. If it's even available still. And, you know, toppers do nothing but they're to attract you to the machine, you know, and it's not even a big deal. Let's see here. Godzilla topper is $1,000. $1,000. James Bond is $1,000. Rush is $1,700. Rush has some mechanical, like gears and stuff turning, but $1,700. I mean, the John Wick topper has a little hourglass that rotates, $1,500. Black Knight Sword of Rage was $400 and something. It's now $1,500. And it has a knight at the top of the machine looking around as you're playing. Foo Fighters is $2,000. Mandalorian's $2,000. That's a lot of money. I don't know. It's a downer too, because I think that it's great. There's been some attempts I had talked with someone about there's a company that is related to Arcade 1-Up that is doing a pinball machine, a home pinball machine, that is not, it does not look great. I contemplated backing it on Kickstarter. I have met the guy that was doing that, and I was like, well, this would be cool to see what's going on with it, but ultimately I don't have the space. But it was under $1,000. Now, I feel that price point's a little too low because it's more in the toy category at that point. But who knows? It could be great. Stern has a low end called Home Pins, and they have a couple of them. The two that I know are Star Wars and Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park was designed by, the original Jurassic Park is designed by the guy who did Godzilla and King Kong and stuff, Jaws. But the home edition was done by a guy named Jack Danger, who did, his game was Uncanny X-Men, was what I was talking about. He also did the Foo Fighters. And he is really, I mean, he's only done a couple machines now, but he has really neat, innovative ideas. which is really awesome. You know, I like that. I don't know how young he is. He has a family, so I mean, I imagine he's in his 30s, early 40s. And I know the other guy is like 50, and that's not young, right? Like, where's the young people? Now, I know there are some young people working there and on the teams, but one of the guys left, who was a pretty interesting guy and did some cool stuff. He's now at another company. But like, you need young people, you need women, you need people of color. I really feel like pinball could really benefit from that. Part of the issue is just getting more people into it. So anyway, they have those home pins, and those are like, let me see what they say they are on here. Let me just type in the word home pin. The cool thing about the home pins, not what I want. $6,000. Wow. Wow. Is this correct? No. Home edition. Ah, there's what we go. Home edition. I'm a knucklehead. Let's see what they are. They have made upgrades to those. So they've been out for a little while. And the latest thing is the Jurassic, Home Edition Plus. So that's what drove the price up. They added the Insider Connected, which is amazing, meaning it has like achievements and stuff like that, and badges that you can earn like with video games. And it's $7,000, $6,000. And here's the deal. The Pro version, I mean, I'm pretty certain they have the Star Wars one, and I'm betting it's the same price. And for $1,000 more, yeah, for $1,000 more, you can buy the Pro edition. I don't get it. That seems too much. I don't know. So it's just pricing it out of everybody's range. But here's the thing. You don't need a pinball machine at home. There's tons of places to play. Not, as we had Mike saying, in Toronto, they don't have a ton of great places, but there are probably more than he even knows. It's, you know, it's kind of one of those deals where it just hasn't really resurged completely visibly out there in the world. We have, as I was saying, we have 2 locations here. The other place that we also, I'll tell you, the other place that got us into pinball was, but anyway, we have 2 locations here that are in Korean barbecue restaurants, which I think the guy that owns the restaurants is a pinball distributor and has these arcades. They're great, and they charge 50 cents to 75 cents, which is too low. I mean, I won't sneeze at that. I'm very happy about, to have it. I mean, we can go and play for inexpensive, much less than owning a pinball machine. So, but you can also buy an older machine, right? There's plenty of stuff out there. And before the pandemic is when it kind of hit a resurgence. And they were selling, like, we were supposed to go, Nikki and I were going to go to see in March don't have any other minis floating around right here. Let me see here. In March of 2020, we were supposed to go see this arcade out in the desert here in California that had I think it was a biannual. No, there's nothing in there. Not biannual. Maybe it was. But twice a year, I think, maybe once a year, they would have an event where you can go and you paid not a ton of money. I mean, in retrospect, it was the cost of going for an all-play day, you know, where you spend $25, $30 or whatever to play as long as you want. As a matter of fact, that is one of the things that people in the business think is crazy about Pastimes. Pastimes charges $20 to go play all day. Now, they have a different potential model. It's putting his collection out in the world, which is a great idea, you know, and it gets used, and they're not sitting in, you know, storage. I mean, the warehouse, the location has storage, tons of games stored up above and stuff that we could not see. I've seen videos. But I mean, I don't know. You can go to lots of places and play. We have a couple. So the other place that we played in Dallas, called Cidercade, we played at a couple of their locations. They had more machines, but they still have at least 15 or so machines. The issue, I'm sure, is they have multiple locations now, so they probably are spreading the machines out a little bit more. Their machines are not always in great shape. They've had people working on them when we've been there every time, but you know, some of the problems can't be resolved easily. You know, you have to buy hardware or something for it. But still, pretty great place. We went there. That's, as a matter of fact, where it got Scott into pinball. We took him there too. And we're there for 6 hours at that place and played a bunch as well. And it was amazing. I wish we had more like that in Southern California. And I'm, you know, and talking to others, it seems like not everybody has it either. Interesting. True Value. Well, is it noon yet? Probably. Yeah, just hitting noon. I got another half hour. Probably. Let's see here. We have a friend whose wife is out of town, and he's taking care of the kids, and he's talking about having us get together to play games, which would be awesome. We've been trying to make it happen. It's funny. So he's going to be on our show. He has been our friend for a long time now, 27 years? Holy cow. He is the one that got us back into modern board games. So he became a friend of ours through another friend who asked if they could bring some friends over to play games. And I said, of course. And we all played, and then for like a few months, and then we got into LAN games, video games. And so we did that for a couple of years, and then he was the one that brought Catan back. Now, I had seen Catan previously, but I didn't know anything about it, and I wasn't going to buy it. And I don't know if it would have been different or not. I actually think we probably benefited from waiting a couple years, because as soon as we played the game, we played it twice that night, Catan, I looked up the game on the web, and the site that came up for me was Board Game Geek. And that was, you know, 2 years, a little more than 2 years into the website, because I think Scott started I know he started in January 2000. So Daryl is the reason you have, and I say this in the episode, you can blame him or curse or praise him for getting us into board games, because he brought it back, and we were like completely smitten, and it has completely altered our lives. I mean, we both are, you know, pay a lot more attention to that now. It's part of our business, and it's great, and it was really, really cool, and it was good to have him. I've been trying to have him on the show for years, and we had a game that thematically was right up his alley, so it was cool. You know, I'm kind of wasted here. Any thoughts on all the new changes coming in Disney in Florida? You know, I don't know, seriously, I haven't heard everything. So I mean, I know that there's some stuff coming to Disneyland. I don't know if you're talking about operational changes. The park here is changing. They are expanding, and they're removing stuff. I mean, we had a great time at Disneyland. We hadn't in a long time. We had a good time in 2019 because we hadn't been for a long time. I mean, we used to go annually. We had friends that would come down and visit us, and their parents passed away, and so they didn't come down as much anymore. And so we didn't go. Let me just cut to the other angle here. So we didn't go because we didn't go with them, right? They weren't around. They were really fun. They always wanted to go. And so we really had a great time. And now it's still challenging. Like not everything's, it's very busy now. It's very expensive. And I don't know what they plan to do in Florida, but I know it's probably more expensive. What was the thing there that I was kind of shocked that they did something differently. But yeah, because Universal has that whole Epic Universe thing coming, which could be amazing. Sounds pretty cool. And then they have all the Harry Potter land stuff that sounds pretty phenomenal. I've only ever seen the stuff here in Los Angeles, which is fine. It's a roller coaster and I don't know what the other ride is. I've ridden it. It was 2019, I believe. But I don't remember. I probably should have taken Dramamine because I believe I was a little nauseous on that one. Because it was indoors. Like, I think you're maybe riding a broom, sort of. I don't know. Been a while. But I'm excited about all the changes that they're doing in Florida. And I hope Disney's is good. I really don't know. I wish I'd caught this when you originally posted it, because I do not know. I hope that it's... I really wish I could airbrush right now. I don't really want to do it on a stream. I don't even have the compressor here. We had to borrow it to inflate tires, and then I thought it broke, but it was actually fine. I think it overheated or something, because it was, airing tires can take a while. I have too many compressors, but I have a large compressor that I normally do this, but we were doing at Dave's place. So Dave, at his place, we had stored our car there because he was not home and he wanted it to look as though somebody was home. And so I'd been there for a few years and I hadn't driven it, and it had a cracked windshield that I cracked as I was getting it smogged. I think in 2020, but it might have been 2019, end of 2019, because I can't remember when the registration on that car is. Anyway, I really don't remember. Anyway, so we were getting that car ready for a friend of Dave's to borrow, and it's fine. The car really is. I haven't heard anything since they borrowed it, and it's great. So I'm happy that it's being used, and we'll get it back hopefully, and then we'll be able to use it because it's a good car, bigger than Nikki's, a little bit bigger. It's another Toyota, but it'd be nice if we can get it using it again because it's definitely more space. But that compressor was over there, and then I ended up bringing the other compressor I had. I was in this quest to get the quiet compressor, and this one's pretty good. I really, really want, I don't want to spend the money, but I really want a, I mean, if I did, I could actually airbrush on stream. Maybe a business expense? Not really. Silent Air has a compressor that's supposedly whisper quiet, and that would be phenomenal because I find that loud noise is getting to be more difficult for me to deal with. Let's see if I can paint something here. I really do need to paint Squirrel Girl, which I showed earlier. I think we have both of her painted. Let me look her up here. It's really a cute mini. Boy, there's some flash lines there you can see. Mold lines. Okay, well that's a bummer. That one will be the one I keep. I'm pretty sure I did a better job on the other one. I generally give, if you ever get minis painted and I'm doing them, you'll be happy. I'm going to give you the good ones. I just don't like, I get frustrated if I don't give the nice ones to others. Let's see here. Because I don't know. I'm a picky, and no matter what it is, I'm going to be particular about the miniature. This is, I was supposed to cut here. Let me cut. Theoretically, I'm going to cut. Is it working now? Nope. Oh, you know what I did on here? There we go. Oh, wait. Maybe it was working. Who knows? I just updated the firmware on it, so who knows, or the software for it. I think this one's Scott's. Looks good. Where's the other one then? There should be. Oh, you know what? This is probably. I think this one comes in the main game. Or no, maybe not. Okay, well, let's work on his toes. Yeah, there's another mold line there. You really, I think it's worth looking at it at least a little bit to try to bring it down a notch. I don't remember if Scott did this one. I have to look. I think this is in the, I feel like if I've done it already, there's one in the box already. So these are Scott's and my friends. But I need to put them away. So I'll do that later. I could be doing it all day. You know what? I cut and I cut back. What am I doing? Am I touching something else? There we go. Get my mouse away from there. Okay. So look at pictures. Squirrel Girl. So we were watching, they canceled gosh, what is it? Devil Dinosaur. What is the name of the show? Anyway, we were watching them. It was a fun show, animated show. It's not like super in-depth, but I keep wanting to call it Squirrel Girl, but it's not that. Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. There we go. But they have like maybe the second half of the season, of the final season out there, and I didn't realize it had already come out, so we need to watch them. Wow, she really looks good. Harumph, I say. Well, let's get it on a thingy here. Rides mostly in i.e. Indiana Jones. What's going on with Indiana Jones? Should I look it up? Are they making changes to it? I mean, you know, Indiana Jones is nearly 40 years old. Or no, maybe it was early 90s. I can't remember. That's out here too. I don't even know. No, not Epic Stunt Spectacular. A new Indiana Jones experience at Animal Kingdom. Ah, well then if they do that, I can pretty much guarantee they're going to rebooting Indiana Jones, because that is going to happen. And I'm not, you know, what are you going to do? People are upset about it. I'm like, you can't expect that they won't do something with it. You know, it's expensive. I mean, the whole Disney, I mean, Harry Potter, they're rebooting that, which is crazy. It's only 25 years or 24 years since the other one, but you know, it doesn't mean anything necessarily to people, but it sure means people will be making money from it. Okay, so I believe this is Wildwood. It's going to be Wildwood here. Do I have Wildwood down here? Gilman Flesh, Basilicanum Gray. I was just looking at a brown a few minutes ago. Gore-Grunta Fur, I will be using that. I think I've already used Gilman Flesh. Does she have... oh my goodness, too much stuff here. Is that Wildwood? Yes, it is.